All right. So what about this for an intro bit? We can it'll be the three of us. We'll be talking about our Thanksgiving. Could you guys throw in like some
classic?
Yes,
Classic.
Yeah. And so what we do is we'll each go around and talk about how this is one thing I'm thankful for from my Thanksgiving. And Swain, you talk about your family or some shit. Exactly.
The people do love you talking about taking trips. So if you could put that in there.
It's part of our bread and butter right now.
So I'll tell the truffle story that I just told with the dog. And then Bones, you'd be like, I don't know what you'd be like. Yeah, my Thanksgiving was fine. But I got a cold.
A sassy, I got a cold in there.
Well,
yeah,
I did. Yeah, no. I did get sick though. I am sick right now.
I know. It's great. Well, and so
it's not great.
So then I can be but for the show,
right.
For the intro, then I can be well, you know what? It's fine. You know what? You work hard. Take a week. I bet Holtz can fill in.
Then you bicker with Holtzman about trying to be on the show.
No, I'm not going to.
Maybe you get really defensive about he's just the guest.
What? No.
And it's no, he can be a guest host. I mean, we've had him on the show a bunch of times. We don't need to interview him again.
I'm pretty high profile.
Quiet, Holtz. We're talking right now.
Okay.
I need you to be really trying to take Bones' job because you just lost your job at Bungie.
Yeah.
So you're I need this job real bad, guys.
Take my job.
I like that. I like that. But what if instead of being desperate, it can be I just killed it at Bungie and now I'm coming to kill it at Crucible Radio. Bones who? Too old.
Oh,
get out of here.
Yeah, we got to keep it moving forward. Yeah, no, I got it. I think I can keep that. Great. Keep that going. Yeah.
Everyone like it? Great. Let's
sure.
do it.
No.
Ready? All right, great. Let's start. Andrew, and drop the music right there. Dude, ride the mute button. This is disgusting.
I'm sorry. I'm fine.
Holtz in here. Andrew, redrop the music.
Good stuff there.
Yeah. Welcome to season 3 of Crucible Radio, where we run out of ideas, so we do old ideas but get real meta with them. It's a show observing itself. It's Crucible Radio, your show for all things Destiny 2, PvP, etc.
I know when y'all signed up to listen to this, you were looking for something else, but this is what you're getting.
This is what you got. I mean, if it's any consolation, we're stuck with it too.
That's true.
You guys have a nice, for real though, nice break. A little time off last week. It was nice.
Of course.
Did you actually get to take a break, Swain? With running a restaurant?
I got one day off.
Ooh.
It just so happened that my employees took off for what was the slowest weekend of all time.
Okay.
So I had to cover it. And it was not fun. Just kind of twiddling your thumbs. But I did work on some other things. So it was productive. It was all around productive. It's nice to have a good, reset, slow day. As much as, you don't like being slow, you need them every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I do like being slow. Reset days. Yeah, I need them all the time. They're great.
Being slow is directly tied to making less money. Then yes.
Sure.
I feel like as a streamer, I can identify with this greatly.
There you go. Holtzman knows what. Anywho, this week we got a special guest. It is Holtzman, as you can already tell from the intro and this part. He's going to be joining us as a co-host.
I am co-host, yes.
Welcome to the show. We put you through the most obnoxious shit all the time, but we appreciate you stopping by.
It's fine.
I want to say this is the third time I have found you, cornered you, and with seconds to spare say, all right, Holtz, here's what I need you to do. And you have never said anything less than yes.
It's all for the sake of the show, man. And the show must go on. And DCP wouldn't be here if we didn't have people doing that exact same thing, basically. So I am got to pay it forward.
The whole year one of Destiny 2. Someone had to keep us all going.
Yeah.
Holtz, you've been on like 1, 2.
I think this is my 3rd one.
3,
I believe this is my 3rd one.
4, and then you introduced us at the first live one. I think you're actually up to 5 appearances.
Really?
94.
There was a couple that wasn't there like a short little mini holiday one?
Okay, yeah. If we're
okay.
counting all appearances, then I've been, this is like my 4th or 5th.
Definitely are. There's 2. There's 3.
This is riveting
There's
podcasting.
4.
Birds counting out loud.
4 only. Just 4.
Four
Just 4.
podcast appearances. Ha, ha, ha.
Hey, Swain, I got a question for you.
Do it.
Yo, you get your Luna's Howl?
I did. At the very last moment.
you were right
Actually,
in
not
hot.
the very last moment. The day before.
Oh, okay. You had plenty of time.
I had plenty of time. I was
Plenty of time.
Afraid. I think that's the best way to put it. Was doing a bunch of other things in game and playing a lot of things to get things finished, and then to kind of throw in finishing Luna's Howl at the end there.
How many points? How many
I took
points
2
did you have
days
to get?
off though. Well, I kind of naturally got the last like 200 just solo queuing, and then it was just a matter of like getting headshots from then on out.
Yeah.
You know? And PC is just like, it's up and down. You have good times of the day, bad times of the day. Some very nice Crucible Radio listeners I ran into on that. I was actually the very last night I was doing it, I ran into a bunch of people that were like super excited in like the local chat about like getting, they would get their Luna's Howl in one game, and then you'd have another person be like, I just got it. And
Nice.
then they'd be like, GG Swain. And then I ran into the saltiest person ever. But you take the good and the bad.
You take the good and the bad.
No, I mean, I got it done. Birds, you're done. You finished it too. We all have Luna's Howl.
Yeah.
Except
we
Bones,
did,
he deleted it.
Odd choice.
I did.
But,
I needed the backup mag for my not forgotten. Sorry about it.
I got mine. Thank you to a bunch of folks, but mostly Dwayne Keen, who helped me get that last 400 knocked out. And actually, the very last game we played that took me over, it was the 3 of us and a blueberry. And the blueberry, we were playing survival. And right at like the 3rd round, or it was like kind of pretty close, like 2 and 3, 3 and 3, something like that. Blueberry, it's 1v1. The power ammo's up. He just sets up the snipe, waits for it, takes the snipe, and I'm like, yeah, good job, Blueberry. And I like typed that to him, and he was like, yeah. And then from that point on, we fell in love, and it was so hyped by the end of it. It was close, but we pulled it out. And then right before we got kicked to orbit, and I lost touch with Mr. Bun Bun forever, I said, you just got me my Luna. And then if you said something back, I never got it. Anyways. It's nice. I like it, but like, it's cool and all.
Classical
but,
love story.
Ace is good too.
Ace is really good. Ace is like, you don't need, if you're like, man, I really need Luna and like not forgot, it'll take my gameplay to the next level. It's like, hold on there, champ. I think you already got something that's really special here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me, it's hard to decide because I like running Erentil in my
fair
secondary, and it's like Luna's is great and all, but it's not going to be my quick play weapon for sure. It's going to be what I take in the comp, and I sweat a little bit with, unless they come out with a primary fusion that's just as good. That would be nice.
Just like blink twice, like really loudly into the microphone.
We'll cut
Bones,
it,
be
I
quiet.
swear.
We're listening.
Whoa. Wow.
Oh,
wait, that
was 3. Yeah, I got the Luna and I was like, all right, I guess I need a Dust Rock. And I really I'd never really used the one that I had. It's got a really good sound to it, takes shaders well. And I figured out a way to do the Dust Rock grind that doesn't drive me crazy. There's a Lost Sector, west side of the EDZ. And what I did was I just said, all right, at the start of my play session, I'm going to grab my bow, grab my shotgun, grab my whisper, and just grind it out until I get a dust rock. Might take one clear, I think at most it was like 8 or 9, something like that to get one. And that's actually been nice because it's like, I get it, and it's like, oh, it's got full choke, but it's only got light mag on it, or it's got full choke and accurized, but it doesn't have the range master, but it does have slide shot. And so I ended up getting a bunch of rolls, enough to like put one on each character. I have to say, you know what a great perk is on a shotgun is slide shot.
Oh, it's so good.
You got to, especially when you only get 2, you're picking up ammo and you don't want to like, reload the regular way. You get that boost. It's nice.
And like depending on the archetype of the shotgun too, like it'll reload 1 or 2 rounds in it. So I'm a real big fan of like Badlander because it reloads 2 when you slide.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so I mean, hey, Mr. Gunslinger,
hey,
Mr. Hand Cannon Gunslinger. Hey. You having fun right now with your gunslinger that's good and that everyone hates?
It's sweet. I got a panic super and I get to feel amazing for shutting down other supers without having to aim, really.
What are you running with it? Like what's the main loadout these days?
I know Blade Barrage is the spec, Incendiary Grenade. I am rocking the Dragon Shadow and then Quad Paragon mod build where I'm just, I have that buff up like 95% of the time, and I don't have to worry about handling speed, reloading weapons. My overall movement speed is increased, slide distance increased. Like it's everything that you want for a hunter on PvP. And it's like, okay, all I have to do is just dodge, every 10 seconds or so.
Interesting. Are you rocking Dynamo perk with it?
No, I was originally, I was doing like Dynamo, and then there was another one that gave like all ability cooldowns, and that was that was busted. That was busted because it also gave you super energy, and I was getting my super like, for after the first round of countdown, I'd be going in with a Blade Barrage up, and that felt. I'm glad they fixed that. But yeah, like
perk is distribution. Perk is distribution.
Distribution. It's real good. But now I'm still rocking like the same thing because it does work like when you're in close quarters. And sometimes, instead of sniping, I decide to rock a chaperone or something because that's like it's a sniper too. But I get to shotgun with my own style, and I still get to benefit from distribution perk and the close ranges. It's awesome.
Hey, I'm gonna let you finish and all, but do you want to know how I knew it was called distribution and was able to find it so quickly? That's right. I looked at the bird spreadsheet, twitter.com/famousbirds, top of the profile. We got all the armor perks, all the subclass perks, surprisingly hard to find those, and some helpful links, including one I just added, Mercury's shotgun ranges post. Great for doing that dust rock grind. That's nice. Bird Spreadsheet. Birdspreadsheet.com.
There's your once a week plug.
I love this bit. I don't make any money.
You bought a website to host spreadsheet.com.
Yep. Spreadsheet.com.
Nice.
Anyways, Bonesy, what about you? You've been playing a little bit of Destiny, right? You just put up a big game, yeah?
Yeah, I'm actually, I really feel like I'm playing some of my best Destiny right now, and I put in a ton of hours in the week before Thanksgiving and a couple days right before to get Not Forgotten, and it was a hell of a grind, but the Adept clan was really awesome. They're really, really great teammates, and just like I could just feel myself playing better every night where we'd get a few matches in. Just because the teammates I had were just so on their game, the call outs and the strategy and fixing our problems halfway through the game before we lose and we can turn the games around and stuff. But it was feeling really good. And
it's going to be such a good interview.
Yeah. Cap's going to come on soon. Tight. But
I mean, isn't the strat when you're losing, it's like, all right, everyone toss on Telesto.
Sometimes, but man, it was like, it's a wild thing too, because I think that's one thing I've been working on for years, but like really just, and now I think I'm much better at it, especially after hearing it in my head. But especially in something like Countdown, where you have
making accusations for how other players have failed you,
right? and you do that between the rounds. You just go like, all right, whoa, that just happened. let's talk about this. Let's do this next. And it's a little harder to do in the Clash control because you're just go. But it was really awesome just sort of like feel at like someone really observing what had happened, knowing how to fix it, applying that the next round, and us turning the game around like felt great and helped me like instill those good habits and those fixes. So yeah, I'm feeling really good and playing a lot with Not Forgotten, obviously, but having fun with my Fighting Lion now that we've got to get lots of grenade kills, and Top Tree Sentinel is like my thing. I just love it.
Hey Holtz, how you feel about the new gunslinger knives?
Oh, I
PvP?
love it. Like,
Yeah?
I love it. Yeah, no, like,
What's the combo? How do you use it?
Oh, I mean, basically the same way as PvE. Like, I get it that, you know, it's not as easy to use as in PvE, where you basically get to have knives up all the time. You're rolling around, you know, just naturally. But it's still really nice to be able to dodge. And then if you hit someone with like one of the knives, oh, they're burning. Cool. Now my dodge is going to be back up quicker. Incendiary grenade. Cool. They're burning. My dodge will be back up quicker. So it really helps play into that whole keep dodge up routine with Dragon Shadow.
Interesting. Synergy.
Synergies. And then it's just, it feels really good to land like no scope snipes out of a dodge or something, because that's the proper way to snipe is scopes are optional.
Crank the fuck up. Yeah. All right. I did want to share one thing with you guys. I did a major vault cleaning. Bones, you'd be proud. I basically kept one of each of the mid-tier bucket perks. So like no more hand cannon unless it's a really good roll. I'm just going to use light arms, and I don't need a dedicated one. But I did put together a new look on my Titan since I'm playing something other than my Voidwalker, and I would like to share it now.
Wow.
Did you send it to Holtzman too?
Yeah, he did. I could have gone without that.
That's not terrible.
I haven't gotten any of the new shaders yet, except for the kind of ugly ones, and so. Yeah, you see it in person, and it is much louder. It's much more aggressive. I worry that I'm just putting a target on my head because it's not catching. But
Because your head's huge.
pretty big.
All right.
Pretty big.
That is something to like consider with your, you know, armor loadouts, and then also, you know, kind of the shaders that you choose. Is I've had situations where I just couldn't really see someone because they blended into the background perfectly.
Yeah,
I feel like you're not going to have that with this loadout.
Yeah, not a concern.
You know,
I have like on dim my per map shader choices. So I just like have a single armor set for each map. All right, this is the one for Nessus.
Yep. Sand is sand. Sand. What? Sand. Sand.
Gets everywhere. It's annoying.
It's coarse.
Sand. That's sand. Sand.
Well, Birds is broken.
Anyways, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about this week.
Yeah, it was a well, it started off kind of as like a regular between season. Even though it is the new season, it feels kind of between seasons simply because of the content comes out next week. Season ended last week, so we got this like I would call this like grind week, where everybody is just doing those pinnacle grinds and trying to get things done before they get caught up in light level grinding and looking for new exotics. And
which, I mean, if you want to be really optimal, you just you complete the quests for the pinnacle weapons and then save picking them up until you need the light increase. Because pinnacle weapons have that.
This guy.
There you go.
Is that
I want the new thing now.
You do want the new thing now, actually.
Swain does make a good point. Got to say, Swain make a great point.
Very good point. I held on to Ace of Spades until I was like light level 580.
That's patience.
That is. Yeah. I am not capable of that.
I've never had the option to get a treat in Destiny and say, I will wait to appreciate it later. Now give me the treats. Can I say, they posted that Black Armory graphic for just like the layout of the season. And so it's like we got one of the forges on the 4th. We've got another one in the raid a couple days later. And then the dawning comes up the next week. And then the next forge a week after that. And then after the New Year's, we've got Niobe Labs. And then just that they've spaced these things out. Because they kind of did that in Forsaken, but we didn't know it was going to happen to the same degree. I think this is great. This is great. This is so many things I will be underleveled for.
It's always nice to know like the stuff that's coming in the future. Like even if it, you have no idea how big the thing is. Like it's a thing to look forward to in the future instead of just the vast unknown.
Yeah, even like Deej kind of mentioned on Twitter that this is something they haven't really done a lot of before. Is like lay it out this big and say, hey, well that like you said, Birds, that was like the month coming up. But they have like the full roadmap that goes all the way through the next 2 following seasons as well.
Until like
and
August.
Kind of like what's to be expected with each one. And that was just like, man, it's weird to kind of know what you'll be doing for a year.
Yeah.
Like I know like at work I'll have things to do for the full year, but it's weird to be like, okay, my hobby is set for a full year and the content for the podcast is set for a full year. We're going to have all of these things to talk about and I'll have like be stressing out being able to finish all these things.
I'm reminded of a friend from high school. Had this Volkswagen, is like a 1986 Volkswagen Rabbit, like a little GTI, and it was a manual. We were riding in it, and it was just like just very jerky on the gas pedal, just like speed up and then slow down, speed up, slow down. And I remember saying, like, Sasha, try just like put your foot on the gas and get the car going the speed you want, and then just keep your foot there. And I kind of suspect that the smoother ride that results from that is kind of what Bungie's going for. They like the previous pattern of just like a week of bliss followed by like a week of like nodding and patting our tummies contentedly, followed by 2 to 6 months of boredom and rage. No, there's feather in the gas pedal. Just nice feather. Keep us going. Good story, Birds.
I like the analogy. It really
Thank
helps
you.
illustrate it, you know?
Thank you. Good comment, Holtz.
Thanks. I appreciate
sorry, guys.
you appreciating me.
I was filling that gap with chatter, but I was muted because I had to cough seconds earlier. So I said something funny, but it wasn't recorded. Just trust me that it was hilarious.
Dope.
Well, it's going to get recorded.
Wow.
Though, right?
So
or did
funny.
You mute
Wow.
your mic?
Mute the whole mic. It's gone. It's lost.
No.
Yeah, nothing was there.
Funny.
We can fix it in post. It's fine.
Yeah. I'll just do some takes by myself after this. Don't worry, guys.
Bones furiously Googling funny jokes.
Oh, classic Bones.
So, Swain, you got off to the fucking races with these Pinnacle weapons. Yeah?
I did 40 Gambit matches in 10 hours and
Yikes.
finished it.
Yikes is right.
Yeah, man.
Well, no, I can say this. What happened to me was I am off from work on Tuesdays. And that is reset day. And, you know, I was like, all right, all this new stuff is exciting. They kind of dropped the Vidoc and the roadmap. And I was like, oh, Destiny is awesome. Let me play a bunch of it. So I had off. I started at reset at noon. And just kind of kept playing, and realized quickly I was pretty much halfway to a little over halfway there. And I was like, might as well finish it tonight. So,
World's first.
no, I wasn't world first. I don't know. I think EK was. I'm not sure. I actually definitely
rolled
was up there.
Fourth.
I might have been like fourth. I don't know. But it was, I did break and eat dinner. So that's what held me back is food.
Really
All
not
right, so
optimal.
Food.
So this breakneck. You haven't played it yet because you are saving the quest for some reason, for some amount of time, right?
No. I picked it up immediately.
So this thing got Rampage on it. That's dope. And it's got the bonus thing, so the rate of fire increases as you stack Rampage, which in PvP almost seems unnecessary. That seems like a lot of boost. What do you think? You've been getting in the groove with this thing?
So I have been doing a lot of strikes because I'm going for the fusion rifle as well.
Yes.
Good Lord. Okay.
And I've been using it in that, like, in the strikes. So I don't have a ton of Crucible feedback to give you. I used it in comp, in low level comp the other night and got a few kills with it, but I didn't get, like, 4 enemies is not the ideal amount of enemies to kind of work that perk and kind of get it going over Rampage. I did very much enjoy it in PvE. It is great. It tends to, like, as soon as you get that, like, those successful kills and get Rampage going, you're about to reload. So it kind of throws this, like, weird.
What about Actium War Rig?
You could do Actium War Rig. You can use the what's it called, the barricade if you wanted to, and keep it going, like, consistently.
Dragon's Shadow.
Ooh,
Let me tell you about that chess piece.
Using a different. I only know Titans. Holtzman.
Oh,
it's all I know. But yeah, no, it's a pretty decent weapon. It just feels exact. Like, I accidentally put on Hazard of the Cast the other day because I thought I was putting on the breakneck, and I was like, this feels weird. Why triple tap? Why? But turns out they're very similar. They're very similar feeling. They kind of look similar too. This just has that special perk to it. If I was gonna gauge and say, like, hey, this is something to get, I'd say take your time with it. Do your Gambit matches each week, or just do a couple extra. I very much enjoy Gambit, and I enjoyed probably every single one of those 40 games. But I'm a weird person. I'm not the same as everyone else.
I gotta see how many games of Gambit I have played, because that could be potentially really funny. Where does Destiny Tracker show that? I mean, it's probably
like total games played.
There is a Gambit Tracker website that just tracks your Gambit.
Do they track as PvP or PvE?
I believe they track as Gambit.
Find it. Gambit Tracker. Anyways, I can do this in the background. Okay. No, I think I got it. Famous birds. Yes, that one. It's the first link when you search for Gambit Tracker. Okay, I've played 46 games of Gambit.
Oh.
I played 392. I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah, different strokes. Holtz, what do you what's at the top of your list for these new ones?
For these new weapons?
Yeah.
I really wanted to get the fusion rifle first, because I really like grinding strikes. I know this is Crucible Radio, but strikes are like the thing that I do when it's like, man, I don't feel like being competitive. I don't feel like analyzing my gameplay. I just want to sit back. I want to enjoy, blowing stuff up, shooting stuff really well. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just going to grind some strikes. So, doing 40 strikes was not that big of a deal for me. I did it over the period of like two play sessions. Got my fusion rifle, and oh man, that thing is fun. Just the amount of damage that it deals is great. And then the explosion is just satisfying, and it does a really cool, interesting thing, and I think it's just a great overall weapon for PvE. I'm not really a fusion rifle guy in PvP, and the fact that you have to have the full magazine to really make that perk work is
a great demonstration on Twitter today of someone testing the range.
Yes.
When it has the perk.
Yeah.
And it's something like 45 meters.
Yeah. And that makes me want to go, maybe I should get like the 3 fusion rifle scavenger armor mod perks, just really go all in on that. I want to see some people
/famous birds.
I want to see some people breaking their controllers over getting mapped.
The reason I'm going to get it. I'm saving all of the armor I'm getting from the strikes too. I did like some of the Nightfall farm this week too to kind of get a bunch done like real quick.
Yeah, I finished all the the kill portion requirements by like 14 strikes in, so it doesn't take you long to do all of it.
So that I'm going to do this. Like I very much like that archetype of fusion rifle, and I like fusion rifles in general. So it'll be rage inducing. That'll be for sure.
I can't wait to see some just disgusting like quad kills off of it. Like people are grouped up around a point and that explosion just, takes all of them out or something. I also worked on Breakneck. Miss 5000 Watts and I, we were like, all right, we're gonna go sit in Gambit for like 6 hours. Let's do it. And, finished all the auto rifle requirements, and now it's like complete 40 Gambit matches, and I think I have like 12 left to do. So it's like, okay, great. I'll wait until next week when we get powerful rewards. They'll rank me up. I'll get all those, and I'll get the Breakneck, and that'll be a powerful reward increase as well. Awesome, cool.
You'll become a powerful reward yourself.
Oh yes. And then I am waiting for the grenade launcher from PvP, because right now on PC it's a little sweatier than I would like in the comp playlist. So you just gotta let that die down some.
Those first 1,000 points are really easy.
Yeah. So that's actually something I feel like is worth talking about too. Is like I see a lot of people talking about, oh, this is going to ruin the meta, and then of course in the first 24 hours of it coming out, and everyone's trying to do it. Oh, this has ruined the meta. There's a bunch of people just using grenade launchers. Well, yeah, everyone's working on the quest.
We have a great story. Me, Bones, and Keen were. Who else was with us?
Was this recently?
No, it was the other night.
Damn.
When we were doing that first night where we went 8-0 in our comp play, like playing the other night.
Yeah,
we ran into a team that was just like full grenade launchers.
Oh boy.
And we made them switch.
Good.
That's always a good feeling.
It was satisfying because it was like not everyone is good with grenade launchers, so it ends up being this thing where
it is a skill.
Like it's not a shotgun where you can put it in anyone's hands and the skill kind of is all over the place. You definitely have people that are really good with them. You can't just like give someone a fighting line and expect them to be like super great with it.
Yeah.
And they definitely were feeling the pressure of, some longer range weapons, us kind of like baiting out their shots because you have that just that one and then you have to reload unless you like do some trickery. But yeah, it's not as I don't think it'll be as game breaking as people think. And I've seen a lot of like people using the mountaintop that have gotten, and not everyone is like super efficient with it. It's got some, it's got intricacies to it. Like you gotta sticky grenade it.
Grenade launchers like are a skill in of themselves. So people always talk, oh, what's more difficult, sniping or shotgunning? It's like apples to oranges. You got different types of positioning. You got different types of aiming requirements. Grenade different launchers,
gameplay styles.
Yeah,
so be more passive, more aggressive.
Yeah. I feel like grenade launchers, if anything, are the ones that really allow people to show how well they know maps, because you're gonna start getting into the kind of the 3D 4D movement space of ricocheting shots off walls, to where you think people might be.
I fancy myself pretty decent with a grenade launcher, but Bonesy, that clip you posted the other night, just shooting a grenade launcher up a wall to bounce off it and into some Titan who is trying to Mario jump you wonderful.
Yeah, I think what's funny about it is like it's a skill that is not as. I think you get your first game in and people are like, well, let's just equip all grenade launchers and get this quest done. And you realize like, okay, wow, even switching guns, even having two, if you have both your grenade launchers empty, there's a lot of time where you can't really stay in the fight. And I think what's also funny is like, it's always labeled as the low skill, shotgun aping, but pushing with a shotgun is such a good counter to anyone using a grenade launcher with, at like an average level, because even if you take that blast, if you're pushing effectively or even using cover, or your loadout well, like I would take a blast from a grenade launcher, even if I didn't clean up with the shotgun, get the melee and, get an overshield and I feel fine and you're back to it. So it is funny that there's a lot you can do to shut it down. And yeah, sometimes you get in those positions where they're just battling over power ammo and there's grenades like just flying in the lanes. And it's a call out you never really say that often, but like the other night, Swain, you were mentioning, our call outs were like, okay, spread out, which is like not typically what you do in Destiny 2 and just avoid team shots entirely. But at least we weren't taking, explosive damage with two of us by being packed into hallways, and then your grenade launcher becomes less effective. So there's a lot to do to counter it.
Mm-hmm. It is one of those skills that I'm going to equate it to Magic the Gathering, where people are always like, what
every interview.
What deck should I play that gives me the option of playing a lot of other decks too? And it's like, okay, well then you want to go to the Delver archetype because it uses like this creature, this general package setup. Like grenade launchers are not that, where it's like, okay, what skills do I need for a grenade launcher? And it's like a hell of a lot of just overall game sense, like really good 3D space, you got to be able to lead your targets a bunch, and that's like the only time that you really do that in Destiny. It's not a skill that's transferable to other play styles that well. You are learning an entirely new thing by using it, which is why I think a lot of people just don't really put the time into it, because sniping, shotgunning, you got raw aiming and just learning on when to push an area, when to hold back a little bit, when to bait an enemy in. So
I really to refer to the meta as like something that's just, I don't know. It's like, what is popular? Like, what is the thing to talk about for most people? It's like a hashtag almost, like on like a social media thing. It's something that just gets buzz and buzz and buzz, and people were trying to make like the grenade launchers seem worse. And the same thing with like Telesto. Like Telesto is not nearly that bad as people make it out to be. But once it gets this buzz going and people start like thinking about it, there's like other guns out there that no one ever talks about or ever uses that are really crazy strong, but you never really hear about them. And it's like, okay, well, if everyone started to play with those all the time, we would have this crazy like meta of that gun. But I don't think grenade launchers are going to get to that level of like, where we were like complaining, well, like way back in D1 when people were like, oh, we need to get rid of, this weapon right now. It seemed like people were trying to make it that way, but I don't think it's going to reach it. There's not enough people that care enough to use them that often.
I think there's something else too, which is like, all right, everybody knows like, you're going to want to tweak your loadout a bit for the map, right? If you're playing a big open map, then maybe, your sidearm or your short range hand cannon or even your shotgun maybe is not the best choice. If you're playing a real tight map, you factor that in. That definitely applies to grenade launchers. But I think there's something else you have to factor in, which is the game mode that might be uniquely grenade launchery, because you're getting... I mean, what have you got? You've got your single shot launchers. You've got your Fighting Lion, your Malicious Birthright if you've been doing that grind. But, if I'm playing Control and we cap B and I can push forward a little bit and just unload the 8 Fighting Lion shots I have in that general vicinity, I know it is very frustrating to play against. And just keeping people's life not topped off, just interrupting the recovery, doing that kind of thing, just getting rid of all 8 rounds. And then if I die, I die. If I pick up some ammo, I pick up some ammo. I reposition, but then I just start it all over again. You can use all of those shots, but in something like Countdown or Survival, it's about that one kill that you have to get right. Doesn't mean a grenade launcher is not appropriate, but I think they just lend themselves to game modes where you can kind of die frequently. You can get that ammo back. Maybe that's more specifically Fighting Lion. Yeah, I know when the time for Fighting Lion is, and it is not the clutch moment. I don't want it for the last Guardian standing.
Guys, it's been a really, really great conversation so far, but
thank you.
We really do need to get to the important bits of the show, which is the sponsors.
Yeah! Our sponsor this week
is wizardpins.com. Wizardpins.com is the easiest way to create custom pins with your logo or design. Once you upload your design, Wizard Pins will send you a free virtual mock-up of your pin. They can work with any design from hand-drawn sketches to professional design files, and they provide unlimited art revisions until you're completely satisfied.
I am getting a cut of this, right? Since I am co-hosting now.
It's complicated. It doesn't really work like that.
To like stay in for a while, and then I can start getting some of the cut.
Well, let me ask. If I just say no, is that going to be more of a problem if I instead say we'll see, and then it turns out to be no?
I like to be led on a little bit, so let's just go with we'll see.
Yeah, it's complicated, but I'd be happy to look into it for you.
Okay, great. Thanks, man.
Let me finish the ad read then.
Oh, okay.
Wizard Pins can create pins of any size or shape for any occasion, and their excellent customer service team will help you select the style that is best for you.
All the pricing is listed clearly on the site. No waiting for a quote, no hassle, no hidden fees. It's got free shipping and the fastest turnaround in the industry. And I've actually ordered emergency pins at many points in my life. Some of these items can be made in as little as 2 days. It's perfect for small or large businesses, nonprofits, armed forces, professional organizations. They make custom stuff, challenge coins, keychains, race medals. Swain, you get some of these pins? You get your hands on these pins?
I did get some of the pins. We got some samples because we were thinking about some pins for Crucible Radio, and they gave us a very nice selection of pins to take a look at. They're super high quality. They've got all sorts of different textures and designs that they can really accomplish anything. There was a lot of assortment there. So, and they all looked good. They worked perfectly. So I'm looking forward to what we will be getting to give out to our fans at events and stuff like that. So head on over to wizardpins.com and enter code Crucible to get 20% off your first order. That's code Crucible, Crucible, for 20% off your first order at wizardpins.com.
There it is.
All right, checks in the mail. Or not, whatever.
A check is in some mail. Let's leave it at that. It's a true statement. Can't deny it. Do you guys want to talk about these patch notes a little bit?
Yeah. Patch
notes.
Patch notes.
Bonesy, are you dead?
I just unmuted. I was going to say those pins are actually really dope, and my girlfriend stole half the ones I got. But I have a cough drop now. I'm back. Let's talk about patch notes.
I just started smelling cough drops for some reason.
Oh, that's weird.
That's spooky.
I used to
blink twice if it's too intense.
I used to eat like Ludens like candy.
That's what they are. They're so
they're candy.
That's just candy. I know what I'm doing here.
It is just candy.
It's helping a little, mostly to taste good.
Really good for a cold is honey and menthol and apparently just candy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It helps.
Amazing.
So honey and cigarettes.
Yeah, I was thinking, I've definitely had both of those.
Birds told me to just like suck down a few cigarettes and I can't stop coughing. I don't think it worked.
Glad I quit smoking cigarettes, except for special occasions. We've got some super changes. Chaos Reach apparently had some stuff going on with it, and apparently they've dealt with that. Cool.
The big change hasn't come yet, though, and I'm really wanted to because I'm looking forward to that. That whole sort of cancel your super and save some is a whole different sort of play style that I really want to try out because I think that subclass is underrated. But that's next week.
Cammy talked about the disrespect of just like unloading the Chaos Reach beam onto one person just to prove a point and saving some for the next one. Had a Nova Warp thing. I mean, I haven't had failure to detonation. I always detonate reliably and right on time.
No issues performing.
Am I world's first on that joke? I might be. I'll take world's fourth. I'll settle for world's fourth.
Yeah, like Swain's breakneck.
Something. Sentinel banner shields. Oh, okay.
These all feel like things I've never run into.
Yeah, right. Let's just skip ahead to the other two. Subverting Maul we've never run into because we only ever used it once in PvP. Well documented on the show. Maybe it's great. Show us how. Thunder Crash something. This one's gotten a bit more mileage, but I have not tried it yet. Has anyone tried the leg motion sickness, less of it thing in this change yet?
I didn't get motion sick previously, so I wouldn't.
Do you feel like extra healthy after this one? Or does it just top out at normal?
Bones may need to try that. Help out with that cost.
Just Thunder Crash a few times.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel better.
Then we got the big one here, which is Spectral Blades.
Oh my goodness.
They made it good.
Oh.
And they didn't fix the Gweiss Invest bug yet, so it is really quite good.
Real good. It's a monster.
Well, it's real good until you generate 5 orbs, and then it's not good anymore.
Generate orbs wisely. Yeah, it's beautiful. I actually just completed that subclass because I hadn't given it much love through Forsaken, and Blade Barrage is so fun. But, even me just using a little bit, I could tell it's so different. The hit registration is very forgiving. It's now like, I would describe it as the best Sentinel super you've ever had. Because people who play Sentinel know the difference between when it feels good and when it feels very bad. And this is just like, you just always get the best feeling Sentinel. So Titans should be jealous about this, but it's very fun.
Didn't Dan say that he had the Spectral Blade super up for an entire round?
Yeah, no, it's very not okay right now. That is for sure.
I believe we do have confirmation that they got something in the works for that.
Yeah. I think it's great. It's gonna be around because it's one of those things which are one of my favorite kind of things to happen in Destiny, which is an evolving game, is that people did figure out the neutral game of that subclass. It just took a little bit. And I think, if a super just feels awful, you don't want to play it. And I can understand that. But a lot of players have just started to figure out, and, Holtz mentioned Chaperone and stuff, and that's an aggressive shotgun that makes precision kills, so you can go invisible. So you just slide shoddy with that. And I've seen some of the craziest plays from Forsaken are just stringing together kills with this subclass. So it's about to be at the top, and that's not even a hot take. That's just a pretty obvious prediction, I think.
There's something really scary about it when it's like your whole screen starts to go dark. And you could feel them coming closer. I wish more supers did that. Made you feel scared.
And the spiders that come down over the screen too.
Yes,
that one definitely makes you feel its presence. I still think it's going to be like, you're going to fear the super no matter what, but like the subclass itself still takes a fairly high skill level to start doing well. So, fear the super, but there's going to be some players that you're going to have to be more wary of.
I mean, isn't that just the truth in general? Like, don't worry about the loadout. Worry about the person who's going to use it to get you. That's super deep. I just thought of I smell cough drops. That's so weird.
Sorry,
right? I know.
Yeah,
I've got 3 in my mouth.
Oh God, is there one for each of us? What spell have you cast, Warlock? Exotic armor. You think this Ophidian aspect thing is why it felt like it didn't work because it was on the things that I mostly use on Warlock?
Ophidian aspect has just had some weird stuff happen to it over the course of Warmind to now, and it's like it. Yeah. So it definitely has been doing some weird things with melees.
They've had that was a change a couple patches ago where it was like, Ophidian aspect boost is now the same as Syntheseps boost.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, no, it's not.
No way.
What? No. But maybe it is now. Maybe it is now. I haven't tried it. I haven't tried a lot of stuff. Not really very well prepared for this. Lunafaction boots. Yeah, okay, whatever. Ursa Furiosa. Still a pain in the ass. Don't shoot the thing. Okay, don't shoot the thing.
I saw like a little bit of a discussion about the Ursas, which I got this week. Woo!
Hey!
It was
Bear
exciting.
arms.
I can now bear arms. But no, I saw a lot of people like being like, it's useless now. Do not use it. And it's it's hard to argue against getting like any of your super back from it. Like if you get anything back from just using it and kind of like protecting a space or like pushing forward and like killing them with the shield, or like even just like using it for a second, throwing a shield, it's so worth it to get any of your super back, no matter what.
Mhm.
Like even if it's just a quarter or a half, no matter what, it is great to get more super energy back. Especially if you have five super mods or four super mods going.
Yeah.
Definitely worth it.
Well, I think it does something else, which is that it makes that guard, like the guard is super viable, right? Like it is terrifying when you're trapped in a corner with somebody slowly walking towards you holding a shield up. But I think maybe now when you don't have the luxury of that space, or you want to play defensively and control a point, to like directly incentivize that, I think it pulls a part of that super's gameplay a little more relevant in PvP. Plus, it looks dope. Come on.
It's bear arms, man.
So are like high impact scout rifles like really good now?
No.
They're consistent.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, they are consistently going to do the thing that they're supposed to do now.
Yeah.
Which is, well, they're still not. Yeah. You're if you're looking for a reason to go away from like using Go Figure as your long range weapon, yeah, this ain't it, man.
Yeah. Hey, what's it? Jade Rabbit's pretty good.
Jade Rabbit is really good, and then you use Go Figure. I just think that one's better.
Yeah. I got like 20 of them in my vault. Look. Oh my God. Going through your vault and comparing rolls to try and find the good one, exhausting. How am I supposed to tell which of these 20 anonymous autumns I have is the good one? I fall in love with all of them.
Just get the one with full auto on it, and then
I got the one with full auto. I thought I was gonna love it, and I don't. I feel like I'm sloppier, right? Like I'm not. I need to pace my shots.
it's fair.
I'll tell you. I got the Dust Rock with full auto on it, like good roll, and it's got full auto and assault mag, so it's very fast. That is a funny gun. That is a very funny gun. It works great on a hunter because everyone hears the Dust Rock sound that we're all learning. But then you hear it again just like a second later. Very good. Yeah. Love it. Okay, so Jade Rabbit, new meta, rapid fire frame. Trench barrel. Fuck is that? SMGs, machine guns got an accuracy boost because you know what needed it was the machine gun.
The machine gun. Yeah, why not?
It's so good.
You thought you could escape it. No, you're not. You're not escaping this now.
Yeah, that's like just now that I got the Lunas, that's just new default loadout. And some other stuff. Wait. So hold on. They buffed Ace of Spades.
Yeah, no, that's a buff. That's a buff.
Why did? Why? Oh well. So okay. So I'll tell you what. I got very used to Ace of Spades with transversive steps, which is weird and fun. It can be tricky if you don't get the reload that you wanted, and because it just reloads on you. But I never had to deal with like an empty mag and giving up my my go-go bullets. I can see how that could be useful.
Yep, it is buffed, and I don't know. It could. I don't want to say it didn't need it, but I don't know. I was fine with it before. Now it's like harder to not use it.
Yeah, I don't think it needed it, but it is interesting how like the PC versus console debate always goes on. Ace of Spades on console, not as good. When you hear people raving about Ace of Spades, it's usually the PC players because recoil's easier to manage, bloom's non-existent, things like that. And on console, it's got more of a kick, bloom's a factor, and it just.
I will say, I use a controller on PC, and I still love Ace of Spades on PC. Like, that recoil isn't that bad, like, to manage. It's one of those hand cannons that, like, you just get into the feel of it, and you can just, like, perfectly time those, like, that quick whip back because it comes to the right. Like, all right, I'm gonna, kind of move my reticle back. I don't know. I very much like it on PC using a controller. So I think the differences lie in like the other parts of what PC bumps up. So like your field of view and all that, much different on console.
It's also like console. 180 hand cannons. So like Luna's, Truss on a controller are just so consistent. And I feel like they do lose when you don't have like some of the controller magic working on them. They are a little bit more difficult to use with mouse and keyboard.
Did you make the you cut over to mouse and keyboard? Still using controller?
Oh yeah, I'm using mouse and keyboard. You
like it?
Yeah. It's interesting because it's one of those skills that once you develop like a mouse and keyboard skill, it's pure muscle memory at that point, and I like that. Also, landing snipes, 3 taps with Lunas with mouse and keyboard just feels better to me. It's like, oh yeah, just nailed those shots. Hell yeah, that's awesome. Whereas with the controller, I never exactly felt that. I could definitely feel like, some of the, stuff behind the scenes working sometimes. And, that does take away from the experience some with me. I always like to try to better myself as a player, and using mouse and keyboard just allows me to do that even further.
Well, so now I'm curious. So, Holtz, you were off the grid for a little bit,
4
working
months. Yeah.
at Bungie as a gameplay specialist.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're working
Tell us
on
all your secrets.
Swain, be cool. We gotta ease him into it. But no, I'm curious. Like when you're let's say you're working on a new gun or something. I mean, are you taking these different things into account, sort of all the different environments where this thing is going to show up?
So, yeah, I can answer that question by answering another big question. What the hell did I actually do there? A gameplay specialist. Well, I wasn't exactly working on guns. I wasn't making them. That wasn't my job. My job there was to like play content and then talk about how I feel about it, say, hey, this is what I felt like worked. This, this was, a part that made me really not like it, stuff. That's generally how it went. Basically what I do now on YouTube, where I play content and then say, hey, here's the good, here's the bad. So that's basically what I did while I was there. However, when I did get to do some specific stuff, like I worked on Whisper of the Worm, the mission a little bit, the weapon a little bit, but it wasn't getting down into the nitty gritty, like saying, oh yeah, we need to tweak up the range right here. It needs more aim assist or something. It'd be more along the lines of, hey, this feels really good, but as a player, I'm like, why would I use this when I got this over here,
They would hold up the chart with all those different emoji faces on it, and they would say, which one did it make you feel? And you pick the smiley face.
Yeah.
Single raised eyebrow. Well, so I guess as you were working on this, we all play Destiny the way we play it. And like sometimes it's a narrow play style, sometimes it's wide ranging, but we all kind of have our own way into the game. I mean, did you get the feeling when you were working there that were you trying to like put yourself in other people's shoes and say, look, I need to, I really like this, but I could see how it'd be difficult for someone else, or like this personally is not for me, but I got to put that away and just see like, is there fun here with someone? Like, are you trying to cover all those angles, or is the idea that like, look, we've got a lot of people trying it, everyone just do their own thing, and we'll figure out who likes it and who doesn't, kind of bring that together?
Definitely like kind of all the above. Like the first and foremost thing that we kind of resolved that we would do is we will always play stuff as we will normally play it. We will talk about it as we normally would. And then, once you get so far into it, you know something so in depth that it's like, okay, let's try some other stuff now too. So I normally wouldn't use this thing, and okay, cool. Now I'll try it, and this is actually really cool. I like this. Well, what? And then of course, just I would usually take the step further of why do I like this? Just because I like answering those questions, but it wasn't really entirely needed in terms of the process there.
Did you find that it was like making sort of an in-depth YouTube guide, sort of the way you would approach a content?
Oh yeah, no, we Mercules was there with me, and so was another person by the name of Spot the Striker. So we had a great fire team there, and Merc and I were very well versed in terms of making content. Spot, she didn't. So Merc and I would usually just be like, oh hey, let's work on this in terms of how we normally would when the game is released, and make a spreadsheet or something about this type of stuff. So
yeah, speaking my language.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we would usually we would think of stuff, and our default version of playing the game is kind of making spreadsheets, so to speak. So of course we would. I don't do the spreadsheet thing. I let other people do that. I can't stand it. But
okay, well you are off. Right. The new podcast I was creating in my head.
Spreadsheet
Good
radio.
Fucking riddance. Yep.
We're gonna just talk numbers at you.
Super group kind of things.
Column B, row C. Yeah, that's the one.
Oof.
Yeah, everyone knows all real spreadsheets start in B2. If you're using A1.
Oh yeah.
Gross. Do you I guess I'm wondering. I mean, you're getting in a lot of playtime, right? It's playing Destiny as a job. I'm curious about the pros and cons, right? Do you feel like your level of gameplay or the way you approach the game is improved? Did you burn out and not want to play it as much?
That is actually, yeah, I think that's actually interesting because a lot of the stuff, like, so when I was there, we played Gambit a ton, and man, when I was there working on it, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna love Gambit so much, and I found that like once I was like about 3 or 4 weeks into Forsaken being out, I was like, okay, I've played a lot of Gambit now over basically the past 5 months, and I'm like, I'm kind of burnt out on it a little bit. And so basically once I got I knew, okay, Malfeasance will come out, around this time. Great. I'll get that and then we'll see what happens. And, I basically burned myself out for that. But there's other parts of the game where, I just still absolutely love. I still love going into PvP and just doing stuff there. I'm not sure if that will ever die unless, unless we just go back to year one or something like that. But yeah, burnout was definitely is a factor. It always is when you're streaming too. You just physically play a game so much that you're like, okay, I need to take a palate cleanser from this, and that's that would even be without doing playing the game for 4 months before that.
Word. I guess one thing, I mean, normally when we talk to Bungie folks, we're talking to someone from the sandbox who's making a weapon, right? They're making a subclass. You make it as good as you can. You put it out, and that's hopefully it. Maybe you have to come back and tweak something, but you try and get it right the first time. But then I wonder about something like Gambit. I mean, when we've got the season of the Drifter coming up, and it's the kind of thing where we're getting Gambit V1 right now, and like maybe edition of Meatballs is V1.1 or something like that. And you start to kind of see like, okay, here's the game we're playing right now, but I could see the potential of it. Like, what if we totally laid the maps out differently, or we had different goals or sort of different milestones or something like that? Maybe something other than a primeval fight. Like when you're giving feedback, are you trying to say like, look, we got a release to get out. Let's focus on this V1, make it as good as we can. Or do you feel like there's a license to say, well, this is what we're working on now, but maybe we could go here in 2 months and there'd be a progression there that sort of build on it. I mean, how do you look at the longevity of something like that?
Yeah. So when we were thinking about that stuff, it's very much based on it depends on like how feedback would be given. Sometimes, we'd be asked direct questions like, how long can you see yourself playing this? Most of the time it's very much kind of in the now sort of thing where, very much focusing on, how I would feel like in a week time period or so. But as far as like the 2 month from now type thing, we weren't usually the ones that were making those types of decisions. We weren't giving suggestions on where to go, because I feel like that strays away from feedback, and that gets more into like, that doesn't get to the root of the problem. If I am saying in 2 months from now I would like to see this happen, why am I saying that? What is it because something doesn't have as long as longevity as I thought it would? Is the rank up system not as robust as like I envision it? Stuff like that. So that's always the way that I try to approach giving feedback, whether it have been at Bungie or even in like the videos that I make on the channel. It's get to the root of the problem. Offering suggestions is cool for like a fun exercise, but I know that designers really appreciate it when you don't say what you would do to fix the problem. You say what you envision the problem is.
Yep.
Is that something you would say you took away from having experienced this a little bit more? Or is there anything else that you kind of like came out the other side and you're like, I'm going to completely change in this way?
No. That I started thinking that way in terms of like giving feedback before even doing Destiny content. I got my degree in photography, and there was a heavy focus on theory and critique. And you can't really critique a photograph without talking about the intent of it. So artistic intent is, something that you go into well before even talking about, like the physical properties of a photograph. Like, is it overexposed? Okay, well, don't say if it's overexposed. Think, why is it overexposed?
This picture doesn't have a dog in it.
Yeah,
I think there should be a dog in this picture.
Maybe the photographer wasn't wanting to, show dogs.
They didn't intend to dogs.
Yeah, maybe a dog represents something that this photograph isn't. The absence, the absence of the dog actually speaks more than the presence of the dog.
Wow. It's like I got 4 cough drops in me. So I don't know how to phrase this question, but I'm going to muddle my way through it.
I look forward to it.
So, I have definitely, like, personally gone through evolutions of understanding what Bungie is like. Mm-hmm. Like, when I first got into Destiny, like, it was just like, I like this game, and I like that they're into the same kind of stuff that I am. And then I think, I've sort of grown up over the course of getting into Destiny, getting into the show, and realize, like, just learning about businesses, learning how they operate, and like getting to talk to Noose and get to see like the sandbox side of it. And Bungie has opened up a lot more, and there's people that just talk about raid design or something like that. And I think I've started to gain, just a better understanding of like just the massive machine with all these moving parts that produces Destiny. I'm curious, having been on the inside of it, what didn't you realize about what goes into a game like this that you've seen firsthand now?
I mean, there's the really obvious thing of like how much passion and how devoted people are to, just the general work of making anything like this. When anyone ever says, any developer, not just Bungie, it was like, oh, they're so lazy. It's like, you don't. It's like you're not thinking about them as the people that are working on something. You're thinking of it like just as an entity itself, and it's so there's so much more there than that. At the same time, I think a lot of people don't realize how much time it takes to make stuff like this. Just I of course I can't get into specifics of like, how long it actually does take. But that's one of the things that like really surprised me going in is like just how long it takes to, get to a thing that's playable, to get to a thing that we can start, giving the type of feedback that we want to give on. So, and then the other thing is people people never see the iterations of A, B, C, D to get to, what we have now. And that's both something I wish people would kind of have in mind, and at the same time, they don't have to. As a consumer, as someone who's going to play a game, you have what's presented in front of you. The only thing that I wish people would take away is whenever they're like, oh, why would they think of doing this? And it's like, well, you start with an intent for something, and this is the result that you ship. Sometimes it meets the intent, sometimes it goes above it, sometimes it doesn't deliver. The human aspect of designing is one that's most often not thought about. People think of it very much almost as, this kind of scientific, not scientific, but people think of it as, oh, we know exactly what we're going to do with this. And that works great on paper until you play something.
If 100% of the specials I made at the restaurant were amazing, I'd probably be paid way more.
Yeah. I'm curious, and like, I know that, you can't really talk about specifics, but you worked on or worked with or played on, a lot of the weapons we're using now in, all their different iterations. Did it feel in general like, the first pass, it's like, okay, I get it. And then like the restaurant special, you can kind of adjust the seasoning, you get it dialed in, but it kind of moves in a straight line towards the final version. Were there ones where it was just all over the place? Like what is a normal progression for, like a new gun look like?
It's never really something that you can look in a vacuum of looking at one gun. You have to look at everything, there's, when people say game design is hard, it's a very true statement, because when you finally get that game and you play it, at home, you're looking at stuff as it is right now. There's moving parts that are in terms of developing. There's always moving parts, and you're thinking about one thing, other stuff is happening. So cough drops, man. There's cough drops.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, man. It's like that. Again, I understand specifics, but out of all the stuff that you've worked on that is been released, as far as I know, what would you say? Okay. A couple questions. I think I'm guessing you can probably answer these.
Okay.
Out of all the stuff you've worked on, what would you say was the thing you worked on that you're proudest of the end result and like felt like you contributed? What was the most fun to work on as you were going through the process, and which was the most frustrating?
So I think the first two are basically the same answer. Whisper of the Worm, working on the mission, working on the weapon, giving feedback on those was such a cool process to be involved with. Without getting into specific, it's just it's such a it's mostly, I think it's mostly because the end result is like seeing how awesome it was for the community to like.
It was so much more than just a quest and a weapon. It
smacked us on our little butts.
It was like a really good cough drop that lasted a while.
It's like a Ricola or something.
Yeah.
I've never stood in a park waiting for a cough drop.
But yeah, like that whole experience was just, it's so cool to be a part of. Cause like first time I played it, first time they, basically gave it to me, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. And, for a majority of the content, we went in blind for it. Just because if you're trying to give feedback in an authentic manner, you can't be told what it is that you're doing. So yeah, that's how that went about. So I still got to have that real reaction.
Wait, so like when you say blind, was it literally like, hey, go over there and find this guy? Like, were you dropped off at the beginning of the mission?
I mean, yeah, for the most part, like for Whisper, it was just like, hey, you're coming to this play test.
Okay,
and I was like,
cool.
Okay, what are we doing? It's like you figure it out when you get there. It's like, all right, man, whatever.
That's awesome.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
All right. Frustrating one. Pain in the ass. Doesn't mean the end result is bad. Let's be clear.
But I guess a frustrating one is it's more of like the wide scope of things. there. So like just like power level, like testing power level gains is it's such a long process basically.
Yeah.
So, you know, it just takes a while to properly test it, you know, at least in the ways that we were.
That makes sense. All right, I mean, you're talking about both the grind and also like what does it feel like to be under leveled?
Yeah, yeah. So like, you know, we would do simulated weeks, so to speak, where it'd be like, all right, we're playing, and during that time, it's actually incredibly valuable to see like, okay, how long. This is why I did the actually play 40 strikes for the fusion rifle thing. So I wanted to know how long it actually felt to play 40 strikes. You know. I feel like that's a valuable thing just to know. So when playing an activity a bunch for weekly resets, like how long does it actually take to, you know, play some of these, and then, you know, doing that for basically my work there. It's just a thing that can take a long time, and even if you really love it, it's like it's like, all right, doing this again, sweet. So when it I think the reason testing power level was the most frustrating thing for me was because I knew I was going to have to do it again on live after having done it so much behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like, this feels right. But, oh my God, I have to do it again.
It's like, all right, cool. In a great place. Now I know exactly how long it'll take me when it's on live.
Now do it again, Gabby.
Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
All right, one last question from me, and I don't really know what I'm expecting here, but
Okay.
something not Destiny related, maybe not even video game related, or maybe, but something outside of the work that you did. Tell me something about what it's like to work at Bungie that people would be surprised to hear.
People would be surprised to hear.
I want to know, were you part of the Hot Sauce Club?
I was there for that one. I was not invited to the start of it. I had a prior lunch meeting, so I was not to be able to be there for the first hot sauce meeting. But yeah, that I got in there for the tail end of it, and you know, I was impressed with the array of hot sauces. A little disappointed that people didn't like Formosa hot sauce as much as I did, but I think a lot of people in that particular tasting group were more biased towards wanting hot sauces to be hot, as the ratings for said sauces tended to go in that direction where, oh, this one's got a lot of heat. Great, that one's going to get a high rank. Whereas Formosa, more flavorful sauce, you know, something I would much prefer as a sauce on whatever I'm putting it on. I rate that much higher than, you know, amount of heat.
Well, hold on. I'm going to get this sauce because I like a flavorful sauce. Formosa hot sauce?
Formosa. Not
Which
sponsored.
one you like?
Oh, God. The Chipotle one, in my opinion, is
Chipotle?
Chipotle is a really good one. I think...
this motherfucker has pulled some hot sauce out of his pocket while talking to me multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple separate occasions.
Yeah,
motherfucker travels.
Yeah, at Guardian Con, one of my fans gifted me a bottle of Formosa hot sauce. And man, let me tell you, it made that convention food so good.
That's awesome.
Thank you,
So
Amazon
that's what I
Prime.
needed.
Yeah, that's what I needed. I don't know. Like, it's just really nice to be able to work in a place where people share a lot of the same interests, where, you know, you can have casual conversations with people about that one random patch in World of Warcraft, and they're going to know what you're talking about. You know, finding people that really enjoy playing Magic the Gathering. And like, I think I know a lot about the game. And then I met another guy there who's like, hey, you know, let's theory craft some decks. And I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I'm into that. And then he like sent me this list, and he's like, okay, here's my reasons for, you know, using this low of a mana curve, and like just really getting into it. And I'm like, this guy knows so much more. He has such a better knowledge than me of Magic. So I'm just gonna more ask him questions instead of try to make suggestions on what should change. But yeah, it's like have it just being in a workplace where there's always people with like, you know, common interests that share the same passion that you do for, be it your hobbies, you know, or whatever. It's just something that's really, really special that I kind of miss a lot. I definitely want to try to get a job in the game industry again. I would like to move into that full time because streaming's awesome. You know, I really enjoy it, but man, that physical connection of just talking to people is something that you can't really get anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds nice.
Wholesome.
Spent a lot of time at my work just like radicalizing people and trying to get them to fight the good fight. Like, the fuck are you talking about? You make software. Holtz, man, good to have you back. Did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
I think we covered it, Birds.
I'm looking at the thing. Yeah, we got Bird spreadsheet plug that was in there.
Yeah.
And then another Bird spreadsheet plug at the beginning.
Yeah, the Google Doc says
everywhere.
edited all over the place. It's just that URL keeps popping in there.
But Holtzman, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate you being one of the 3 that got to go and represent the community in this way.
It was truly an experience that I felt proud to represent people there, but also just for my own selfish desires. This has been something I've always wanted to do. Like it confirmed me wanting to like work in the game industry. So,
that's awesome.
I'm really thankful I'm really thankful, they, basically picked me and I got to be a part of that.
Well, and I know you sort of said these things on your own channels. Of course, you've talked about this experience, but it absolutely is relevant to this show and for us to hear it because, getting better at a thing is about understanding it as a whole. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what you've described. Just like getting a better picture of something as a whole teaches you so much about it. So it's really cool to hear. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you guys for letting me be on and talk about the experience and also, talk about those Pinnacle weapons.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting up with all of our shit.
Double my lifetime Gambit matches. Holtz,
let's do it.
Internet, Holtz, you internet boy, where people internet Holtz for?
People can internet for me at Twitter. You can find me at Holtzman_YT. On YouTube, it's youtube.com/PKCForte. I know I have the worst branding.
I think
I'm all over the place on Twitch. Mainly, you're going to be able to find me streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/Holtzman. That's HOLTZMANN. There's a Z and 2 N's in it. Yeah, man. I did not pick the best overall brand. I never make a YouTube channel and then make that like 10 years ago and be like,
I think you can set a channel name that's separate
you
from
can,
the
except
username.
when Google Plus gets implemented. They're like, hey, you need to change this to your real name. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can change it to my real name. I'm never going to use this for anything. And then at that point, I was already like, 10K subscribers in. So I'm just like, oh man, starting over from this point, that's yikes.
I can give you a redirect to birdspreadsheet.com.
Oh yeah, there we go.
We'll get you set up. All right, there it is. Go check them out. Go watch them stream. Go find out how long 40 strikes take. Apparently, hey man, Holtz, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
I realized since you've been on the show last, we gained the ability to demand hot takes and have a badass musical drop.
Uh-huh.
And then you just say your hot take. We're wrapping it up. You want to take us out with a Holtzman hot take?
Holtzman hot take. All right.
Well, you got to call for the hot take.
You must
okay.
Calling Thor's lightning down from the skies. You have to invoke the name of Andrew for it to work.
Andrew, I got a hot take for you. All right, you ready for this? You ready for this? My heater just turned on for this hot take. I don't know if you can hear that in the background. Crank up the gain so you can hear that. Yeah, there you go. All right, so my hot take for you right now. Comp right now, generally PvP, you got people doing the mountaintop. So you're going to think, oh man, it's going to be like this forever. No, wait a bit. Let me tell you, nothing, it's like a fine wine. Oh. Fine wine, wait a bit. If you're like, man, Crucible isn't fun anymore. I'm like, nah. Wait a bit, and you can go back in. A bunch of the sweaty players, they're not going to be playing comp as much anymore, so you're not going to be getting stomped by people that already got Not Forgotten. People that already got Mountaintop. You're not going to need to worry about that. Give it like 2 weeks. Go back into Crucible after some time. Maybe play some other activities. Or my favorite thing, if you're frustrated with the thing that you love, take a break from it. and then come back
Take a
to
break.
it. Breaks are important, man, and you need them. You need them.
Wait a bit.
Here to here.
Are we doing Migos ad libs right now? Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Hot take.
Take it. Folks, thank you so much for listening. This week, we've got music from Catfish Blue. Go check them out, catfishblue.bandcamp.com. This is from a friend of the show, Mr. Steve McPherson, who I recommend you follow on Twitter. Good Twitter follow. That's at Steventurus. Steventurus. You figured it out. Hey, if you're a musician, we want to play your music on the show. It's pretty simple. It starts when you send us an email, crucibleradio@gmail.com.
What's up, everyone? Bones here. Do you like podcasts? Do you like chill conversation? Well, me and my co-hosts Swain and Birds put out a bonus podcast every month on Patreon. If you want to check it out and be a part of more awesome stuff, head over to patreon.com/Crucible Radio and join the squad. See you there.